Love covers a multitude of sins. And then we're going to add to that, because I missed a week, offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. So that's what this is about. And we're going to talk about cell phones, because it's fun. It's going to be good. So let's do this phrase, that love covers a multitude of sins. And that's the cool thing here. Like, let me tell you what it doesn't mean, love covering sins. It doesn't mean that you're going to cover things up, which I know we like to do sometimes. Like, you can't lie from God. You think he doesn't know? I mean, he created the whole world out of nothing. He doesn't know what you're thinking? So love doesn't cover. I mean, God sees it all. And that's the thing. Like, sin thrives in secret. It loves secrecy. Sin loses power when you put it out in the open. That's why the Bible always says, confess and repent, confess and repent. Love covers in a good way. It's a fire reference from Proverbs. So, guys, we like, I mean, girls might like it too, but guys like fire. We like to play with fire. All right, so if there's a fire pit in the back, we take the stick thing and we poke it, we jab it, and we add accelerant to it. We want to see it huge. Like, my wife just wants to sit and watch it. I want to make it big, so I'm always stoking it. That's the image here. It needs oxygen. So with this whole reference is when sin covers up, it's a blanket covering up the fire. The opposite happens is when you stoke it. You add oxygen to the fire, it gets bigger. So that's what we're going to try and do with cell phones. We're going to try and take the oxygen out of it. Deny the power it has a little bit. So a lot of garbage happens on your phones. I know that. These are not the enemy, and I'm not the person who says get rid of them all. But we need to focus on it a little bit, because it's a problem. There's a huge lack of empathy. You can be really brave through a screen. But the funny thing is, take away the screen, you would never say some of these things to people if you were looking them in the face, in their eyes, and seeing them as a child of God. Seeing them as a person. Seeing them as someone who has feelings. It's actually really cowardice to talk like that behind a screen. Here's what we're going to do. Cell phone challenge at lunch. It starts tomorrow. I emailed your parents about it last week. So, for the month of December, and it's 9 days. You can do this. 9 days. 9 times, for those of you who are great movie buffs. So, no cell phones at lunch. We'll give you a warning tomorrow before it starts during lunch. The goal here is to build relationships, is to talk to people. It's not a punishment. It's an opportunity. Maybe the guy's going to actually ask people out to homecoming. It's a challenge to grow. It's a challenge to step up. We're going to deny these sins oxygen. That's the goal. Remember, love covers. It says, show hospitality to one another. Because you love with an outstretched love and you cover the sin, you deny oxygen to sins, we're going to love each other. And it's a hospitality thing. It means brotherly love to strangers. That's literally what it means. So treating strangers like family. You show hospitality by noticing. Noticing people. And the easiest way to do this is get your head out of your phones. I literally was after school, someone walked into me yesterday because they were doing this. Boom, they hit me. They're on their phone. Like, oh, sorry, Mr. Davis, it's fine. Get out of your phone. You have to accept God's love. This is a big one. You can't show brotherly love for others if you don't love yourself. And a lot of you don't love yourselves. You don't love yourself as God's kid. You'll find all that's wrong with you and all the things you don't like instead of focusing on the things that are good. The number one thing is you have been created by God. You were knit together in your mother's womb. You are fearfully and wonderfully made before the foundation of the world. He's known you, claimed you, and loved you. You got to cling to that. And no one can take that away from you. Nobody. Not your friends, not your parents, not some troll on Instagram or whatever. You are God's kid. You got to own that. Hospitable people are not selfish. They think of others. So one of the things you should be thankful for is this community who loves you so much they're willing to give of their heart and their treasure and their prayers to help you. Hospitable people are gracious people. They say thank you a lot. And don't just say the words. It's easy to be kind and say the words thank you. To be truly gracious when someone does something for you. And sometimes you think, well, I deserve that. No. Say thank and mean it. Hospitable people are positive people. We shouldn't be negative. What do we have to be negative about? So encourage each other and call each other out or being negative. Stop being negative. We have no reason to be. It doesn't mean we don't deal with problems. We absolutely do. But our negativity shouldn't be our default setting. Graciousness, thanksgiving, hospitality should. And we can do all of that because Jesus does all of those for us.